Hello, Steve Mills here, back with another podcast. It's great to be back sharing with you some more tried, tested, and as Peter Thompson would say, proven ways to grow your business. I love that way of introducing things. It's something that's Peter's done for years and years. And to be honest, I've copied it a little bit because I like it so much. Whenever he runs a workshop, he says it's great to be sharing some tried, tested, and proven ways to grow your business. And I think it's important, in any video or audio like this is with a podcast, to have some way, not necessarily saying the same as Peter or I do, but to have a way of opening it up. Perhaps I ought to come up with my own instead of nicking Peter's way of doing it. I don't know, but I do like that idea of having a set way of opening up a podcast or a video, and so I found what I consider to be the best and adapted that for my business, shall we say. But anyway, let's get on with the podcast. It's great to be back, as I say, sharing some ideas with you. And today I want to talk to you about converting your leads into meetings. Now, I know some of you maybe don't actually have that structure. People come to your website and they just buy. You're arguably the lucky ones. You don't meet people necessarily, or you don't have a structure where you do that. Certainly with me, with seminars and things like that, people tend to go to our website and sign up and put their credit card in and that's it really. So I don't have a meeting with everybody that comes along to one of my workshops. But for a lot of our clients, we do have meetings, and we want to make sure that we maximize the return on investment that we make, and that could be a physical investment in terms of the time that I personally or one of my team spends on LinkedIn or writing emails and so on and so forth. Or it could be a financial investment, the investment that we've made in some advertising on Google or Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube or other such site. And so that being the case, we need to think about how to do that. How can we get a better conversion rate than we're already getting right now? Now, that's assuming that we know what our current conversion rate is. So let me ask you a question. If you got 10 leads into your business in the next month or in the next day even, how many of those would you convert into business on average? And perhaps you don't actually know, but if you don't know, then hazard a guess. So, well, it's probably about 4 out of 10, Steve, or, 6 out of 10, or whatever it is. Once you know where you are, we've got to decide where you want to go. So if it's 4 out of 10 and you'd love to get it to 6 out of 10, because that would actually equal a 50% growth in your business, let that one sink in for a minute. Then if we want to go from 4 out of 10 to 6 out of 10, clearly we've got to do something different. Because if we do the same thing, as Einstein said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and expecting a different result. So assuming we've got to do something different. So let's start where it all begins, with the leads. There are 2 factors here that come into play. One is the number of leads you get, and 2 is the quality of those leads. There are other factors, the value of the lead, the conversion rate of the lead, but the main 2 I want us to think about is the number of leads you get in and the conversion rate of those leads. So firstly, the number of leads. Obviously, I don't know your business right now. You do, so my question to you again is, are you getting enough leads? If you're not, why not? Are you doing enough marketing? Could you crank it up? Could you improve the effectiveness of it in some way? Could you do more marketing? Could you try some different marketing? How can you get more leads into your business? Once you know that you've maximized that, and to be honest, you never have, because there's always potential to increase it, let's now focus on the conversion rate. So, the quality of the lead, are these good leads? Are they rubbish leads that you've bought from somewhere that, don't convert? Are they leads from your website? Is it that when you get a lead from networking, they're a higher conversion rate than they are from your website, maybe? When you get a lead from email, is it a higher or lower conversion rate than LinkedIn? Does LinkedIn get you more leads and better quality leads than Facebook, or is it vice versa? So are you with me? Getting an understanding of that is really, really important. So on to the conversion. I'll use 100 if I may, and that could be 100 leads an hour, a day, a week, a month, or perhaps even a year. But we'll use 100. So you get 100 leads, and you're currently converting 40 of them, and you'd like to get that up to 60. So think about two things here. Firstly, your sales skills. How good are you at converting those leads into sales? Because if you're like most businesses that I speak to and most business owners, when I ask them, tell me how much time, money and effort do you put into your own sales training over, a period of time, over the last year, let's say, they say, well, I haven't really done any sales training, Steve. And I say, okay, so what about over the last 5 years? Well, no, I went on a webinar once and did some sales training. But, I'm pretty good, Steve. Do you know what? That's absolute crap. I've got to be honest with you. That's just rubbish. You're employing someone, i.e. you, to be a key part of growing your business, i.e. sales, and you've done no training, and that's just rubbish. You just cannot do that. You cannot get away with that. And going forward, over the next few years, do you think things are going to get tougher or easier? I'm not talking about, Brexit or all that old rubbish. I'm just talking about how competitive the world is becoming. Years ago, I had 3 choices of ice cream, chocolate, strawberry and vanilla. How many have I got now? Years ago, I had, several choices of computer. How many have I got now? It's unbelievable. And so we've got to be far more effective at doing what we do. And, that's just the way it is. So if you're not getting any sales training, then, you really need to start thinking about that. And the second thing I want you to think about is your systems, your sales system, because this is really, really important. So what's your sales system? Your sales system is what happens when a lead comes in. Now, for most people, there's no written system, there's no written process, there's no scripting of anything, there's no real understanding of where you are and what you're doing and what you need to do and so on and so forth. And so it's just made up. It's just winged. And it goes something like this. An inquiry comes in. An email is sent out saying, thank you ever so much for your interest. We'll be in touch. And sometime in the next 2 or 3 days, one of the sales team will call and hopefully they'll manage to speak to the person involved. If they don't manage to speak to the person involved, they'll probably follow up by email, and perhaps in another couple of days, they'll call again to try to make contact. If they don't make contact, they'll probably email one more time just to say, we've tried to get in touch with you twice, not managed to. If you're still interested, then please get back in touch with us. Now, if they do manage to speak to the person, they've probably not been trained very well. They've probably not asked the right sort of questions, and their conversion rate will not be very good. They'll probably not have a good understanding of the answers to all the questions that the potential customer will ask, and they'll not really convert anywhere near at the level that they could. Again, it's just not good enough. It needs to be better. How long are you going to follow up? Well, as my friend Peter Thompson would say, you follow up until they die or buy. Now, I'm sure that's slightly tongue-in-cheek from Peter, but do you know what? It's not a million miles from the truth, is it? Most businesses give up far too easy. I won a lead. I won some business a little while ago from this lady who called me. It was a lead that came in, and she said to me, I came along to one of your workshops 13 years ago in Swindon, and you've been emailing me ever since. Now, I send out, those of you who are on my email list will know, that I send out at least 2 emails every week to keep in touch with people and advise them, and to build my, level of connection with my customers and prospects. And so she's had 2 emails a week at least for 13 years. And now she wants to become a client, And I just think that's a great example, really, of never giving in, of keeping in touch. I wonder how many emails that works out at. I dread to think. But my point being that by keeping in touch and not giving in, sometimes you can win business, much further down the line. And that's really my message. 4 things really. Get more leads, and make sure you're getting enough leads. Make sure those leads, the quality of them are high enough. Then when it comes to the leads, have really good sales skills. I train myself every day in sales, every single day. There's never a day goes by that I don't do some form of sales training. That could be by listening to a webinar in my car. It could be listening to a podcast in my car. It could be one of my online training programs that I've paid for. I'm currently on about 3 or 4, I think we've got 4 different training programs that I'm learning from, all online at the moment, from some of the world's leading sales and marketing trainers. And sometimes I attend seminars and things. So, we just need to up that level. And then lastly, I'd strongly recommend that you develop a good, solid sales system, because without that, you're just relying on the ability of the salesperson. And if you employ salespeople in the plural and you've got several of them, then the quality of them and what they say and how they say it will vary enormously, and so will their conversion rate. So we need a system in place. Now, if you're interested to find out a little bit more about, you now know what to do, it's a question of how to do it, how to do all that, then what I'd like to suggest that you do is you come along to my next workshop covering how to turn more leads into meetings. That's what it's about. It's about how to get more leads and turn those leads into more meetings. Now, I mentioned a few minutes ago that, if you could get from 40% to 60%, that's actually a 50% growth in your business. Now, what would a 50% growth in your business mean to you? Would it be worth spending a day with me just to find out? I strongly believe it would. And so what I'd like you to do is this. I'd like you to go to my website. I'd like you to go to www.stevemills, that's MILLS.co, okay, .co, okay? If you go there, if you click on the banner at the top on training, and have a look at when the next training course that I'm running is on converting leads into sales. There'll be one, and dependent when you watch this or listen to this podcast, it'll depend on the date of the next workshop. when you've done that, get yourself signed up, and I'll look forward to speaking to you. Now, if you're a business that would like, instead of having, one person come on a workshop, you've got maybe a team of 5, 10, 15 people that you'd like me to train, then by all means, again, go to my website, get in touch, and we can fix up some in-house training specific for your training team, your sales team, and I'd be very happy to help you internally. So thank you very much for listening. Remember that website, www.stevemills.co. Thanks ever so much for listening, and I look forward to speaking to you again on my next podcast. Thank you very much.